absolute monster on the boards.
What we didn't have up there, though, James, he had 2 dunks on the offensive rebound, so he's been extremely active on both ends.
This is St. Gathers, rebounded by Shaquille O'Neal, nicknamed Shaq. That's his 6th rebound in the contest. 4 minutes into the first half. This is Stanley Roberts. And the 7-foot sophomore drops in the jumper, and it's a 13-8 LSU lead. And Chris Jackson is going to be whistled for his first personal foul. Loyola Marymount comes into the game leading the nation in scoring 121 points an outing, giving new meaning to the term up-tempo.
Well, they really are up-tempo. Their last game, James, they had 150 points.
Jeff Fryer yet to score. He's a 3rd leading scorer on the Lions squad. This is Randy Duvall. Got to start in place of Harold Boudreaux. Chris Jackson. Sweet move. And a 7-point LSU lead.
This is where they get you, coming back on the other end. They missed the shot, but they really push it up hard, does LMU.
And O'Neal has been swallowing up every rebound. Jackson again. 7 points on the afternoon for Chris Jackson. And Fryer, who says he has absolutely no conscience from three-point land, shows why.
He's the hired gun. They told him when you get it and you're in position, shoot it. And Fryer can shoot with the best of them.
Only 1 of 7 thus far, Fryer is.
JB, he went 0 for 11 from three-point line once and kept taking it. The 12th one he made, because Westhead just tells him, when you're open, shoot the ball.
So Stanley Roberts, size advantage indeed, and drops it in over Per Steamer from Sweden. Steamer only 6'7". Lowry.
That's the trade we talked about. That's the 3-for-2 trade. I will give LSU the basket on their end of the court, but you come back on the other end and you see LMU will take a 3-pointer for the 2-point opportunity almost every time down.
Chris Jackson said before the game he would love this type of pace because he can really show his individual moves.
Well, he's been compared to Isaiah Thomas, and I would suggest to you players like Chris Jackson and Isaiah play well in open court contests. You saw a bit of the ability of Chris Jackson to the hole that time.
Terrell Lowry picking up his first personal foul. His first personal foul. And that's the second, make that 3rd team foul. To take a look at Paul Westhead in his 5th year at Loyola Marymount. Says it takes a wacky coach to install this kind of system, but it's paying big dividends.
Well, it's James. He's run this offense every place he's been. He seems to have better athletes now with Gathers, Kimball, and Fryer. So it looks as though it's wacky to everybody else. It's what Paul Westhead has always done.
The mild-mannered professor working over the officials. This is Maurice Williamson. Good pass into Wayne Sims, and he's fouled. Wayne Sims, the elder statesman on this LSU squad, a junior. There are no seniors on the Tiger squad.
Well, you know, I'm talking to Wayne. I think one of the things that are really going to be important for LSU is this young man here. Wayne Sims, being the elder statesman, has to get the younger players. Shaquille O'Neal, Stanley Roberts, Harold Boudreaux, who has not been in the game, as well as Chris Jackson, to understand, guys, there are times when we run, there are times when we set up. This young man understands the system better than any of those other players, so it's really important that he impart his wisdom on the newcomer.
As he nails his second free throw, the foul was assessed to Terrell Lowry, his second personal foul, 4th team foul. And Lowry comes right back, slammed by Bo Kimball, the nation's leading scorer, showing his jumping ability.
Well, Bo likes playing in there. He played center in high school, so he can get up.
Kimball stands 6'5", but jumps like he's 6'10".
Boy, when you like to see people get out, but the thing that sets this up is Tony Walker right now has Shaquille O'Neal guessing what's going to happen. Nobody blocks out Bo Kimball, and you see him get up, kind of hold on to the rim a little bit to protect himself.
You never know he had knee surgery last year as Per Steamer misses. Kimball on the rebound, fouled by Randy Duvall. So a 21-16 lead in early going here in the first half, 13:29 remaining, LSU on top. First personal foul on Randy Duvall. Take a look. Jeff Fryer into the contest for LMU, replaced by Tom Peabody, number 11.
Peabody comes in. They call Peabody the human bruise, always on the floor after the loose ball. And Vernell Singleton will come in on the other side. He's for the same purpose as Tom Peabody for LMU. Singleton on the floor. He and Williamson keeps the tempo up defensively. But this is a guy you have to keep your eye on because Bo Kimball shot a lot of shots during the season, during the summer. He can really score with the basketball.
5 points and 4 rebounds on the afternoon for Bo Kimball. Chris Jackson, full court press by the Lions. This is Vernell Singleton. Lions right back. Kimball from 9-point land as he nails that one and cuts the deficit to 3. 23-20 Tigers. Maurice Williamson. Air ball. There is no need for a 45-second clock for either of these teams today.
Well, I agree with you, and LMU has it at 5.4. I will guarantee you in about 3 minutes you'll see all of a sudden that the time possession for LSU also will go down because they get caught up in the tempo of Loyola.
Well, getting caught up in the action right now, Shaquille O'Neal, 6 points. Kimball hammered from behind by Vernell Singleton. But they're actually going to call the foul on Shaquille O'Neal. Actually, the official had his pick that time, either Singleton or O'Neal. O'Neal only 17 years old, playing like a veteran pro.
Well, I'll tell you what he's really got is he's got a big heart. You know, you talk to him about getting things done. I said, are you worried about tomorrow's game? I asked him yesterday. He said, Quinn, I think I got the heart to play with anybody in the country. I'll be there to play, and you can see that he's come here to play this afternoon.
Bo Kimball picks up his 9th point. Communications major. As a matter of fact, there's a pregame show for the radio station that carries the Lions games.
He wants our job. He's good. He already told me that, Quinn, I want your job.
25-22 LSU lead. 12:50 remaining in the first half. This is Chris Jackson. Maurice Williamson. Harold Boudreaux, Vernell Singleton with the ball, and Shaquille O'Neal, the 5 for LSU. This is Bo Kimball for the Lions. Peabody to Gathers, and he's fouled. The foul will be assessed on Harold Boudreaux.
JB, that's what you get all afternoon. They just come at you, come at you, come at you. And that time, if you get the guards, as LSU did, down on the baseline on their offensive end, there's no way they can get back defensively. And Chris Jackson, I thought, took a bad defensive gamble, allowing the numbers to, again, accrue to the advantage of Loyola.
Back in the game for Loyola Marymount, Jeff Pryor, number 21, and John O'Connell, a 6'6" sophomore.
The story here for this young man, he shoots free throws left-handed. I marvel at.
Marvel because he is a right-handed shooter. Quinn, why did he go to the left-handed free throw shooting style?
Well, when you talk to him about it, he said he struggled so much shooting with his right hand and he had more confidence in the left. He's got a better rotation because he can get his left hand into a better cock position to shoot the basketball.
1 of 2 at the free throw line. He's only a 56% free throw shooter. And we have a turnover, 5 seconds. Now, again, keep in mind this year, the 5-second rule, just release the ball before 5 seconds. Doesn't have to touch anyone. This is Gathers. Tries to jump hook over O'Neal. Not intimidated by him, but O'Neal is making him pay. Off the hands of Singleton, back to the Lions.
Number 34, Randy DeVaul. Replacing number 24, Vernell Singleton.
Randy DeVaul back in for Vernell Singleton, and Stanley Roberts comes in for Shaquille O'Neal. Now, Dale Brown said that he would be substituting liberally for obvious reasons. He may give players a stint as long as 5 or 6 minutes max.
Good idea, particularly with his big players, Roberts and Shaquille O'Neal. But DeVaul is back into the game because of the 5-second turnover. They've got to get the ball inbound.
Now, you see the shot clock to the left of your screen will give you some idea as to how quickly these two teams will put it up, and that's the longest that the Lions have held the ball in that possession. This is Pryor from 3-point land. Air ball. Rebounded. LSU, Maurice Williamson. And there he is, Tom Peabody.
Coming to take
the man they call the human bruise, as you mentioned. They warned us about him to keep all liquids off the table because we would be doused. We were forward indeed. Their Tigers out in front, 25-23.
Well, we got a great game. There's all kind of reasons to be excited. I'm excited because I wanted to see LMU's offense, and LSU is proving up to the task.
Nice pass from Randy DeVaul to Stanley Roberts, his 6th point.
Stanley Roberts is a player that's starting to learn this game. He's got to learn at the inside, but he's got to be aggressive as he was that time.
Shaquille O'Neal with yet another block and a rebound. Kimball. Maurice Williamson shot. Here comes Lowry to gather. And the foul against Shaquille O'Neal, his second personal foul. And Ken, I'm calling you Q and Quinn. The thing I like about Gathers is at least he's not being intimidated by O'Neal. He's taking it right to him.
He took the ball to the basket, which I think is exactly what you have to do against O'Neal. You make him exposing the fouls. But the play was made by Tony Walker. He got up, made O'Neal commit himself, and once he did, he gave it to Gathers, and then O'Neal tried to come back. Gathers took it to the basket.
Aware that there are a number of NBA scouts here today, including Jerry Krause, an executive with the Chicago Bulls. He said one of his principal objectives is to prove that he can play inside against the big guys, which he would have to do, of course, at the next level.
Well, he's going to have to use his quickness on the next level to play, because all of those guys obviously are going to be a great deal taller than players in college.
LSU turnover. The Lions force teams into 24 turnovers a game. Lowry off the mark. Maurice Williamson. As most people know now, the son of John Williamson, former NBA great. Chris Jackson off the mark. This is Randy Duvall. Didn't play high school ball at all.
Well, he was a little bit like Keith Smart from Indiana University. He went to the same junior college, but neither of them played very much basketball in high school and have proven to be very good college players.
Blocked by Shaquille O'Neal, but it looks like he's going to pick up his third personal foul. Now, in SEC conference play, of course, they play with the 6 personal foul rule. Today, they're playing with regular rules. He'll only get 5, so he's going to come out of the game.
I think that rule hurts you if you play all year playing the 6 foul rule and you go into NCAA competition trying to be the champion of college. I think you get into a bad habit playing that way. Right now, they have to make a decision whether or not to get O'Neal out. They should get him out.
I agree.
You see, the thing you do, again, take the ball to the basket with aggressiveness, and there's no question that there's a lot of body by Shaquille O'Neal. In 2 years, he'll block that without there being any foul call.
Lowry converts both free throws, a sophomore from Oakland, California. So Vernell Singleton at 6'7", the sophomore replaces Shaquille O'Neal, who leads with 6 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 block shots, which ties him for the school record, that is, in block shots. He's got a total of 61. This is Gathers. And a blocking foul called on Vernell Singleton.
I know the officials and Dale Brown don't agree with that. I thought that was the call to make, because Hank Gathers did an outstanding job of getting away from the defense.
Fans didn't like it, but take a look.
Watch him. All of a sudden, he looks like he's going up straight. He'll take a step away from the basket.
That's a good call.
Yeah, it's a good call. It's tough to see from that angle, but from our angle, it was right on it, and it was tough for the defender to get there in position.
First personal foul on Vernell Singleton. Now, although a defensive player can still be moving and legitimately take a charge, that time Singleton didn't have himself square nor positioned properly before Gathers took off. Loyola Marymount, 11 of 13 from the free throw line. LSU has been to the charity stripe only 3 times. They're 3 of 3. 1 of 2 for Hank Gathers with the left-handed free throw. 10:41 remaining in the first half. 1-point ball game. Singleton hammered hard by Bo Kimball.
No real malintent on that foul by Bo Kimball. You could see him mouth the words, "Are you all right?" Again, you don't let people take, you don't want to let somebody take a shot uncontested in there. Bo Kimball just got in there. Just a good hard foul.
First personal on Bo Kimball, 15 foul on the Lions. Vernell Singleton had a strong freshman year, of course, just overshadowed by the sensational Chris Jackson. But
Just
Singleton
slightly.
from Natchez, Mississippi, one solid all-around player.
Well, he is an all-around player. They had him playing some center for a while, so he's had to make the adjustment back to the forward spot, and he's played guard as well. So it's been a matter of adjustment for Vernell, and I don't think he's been able to get it all done right away.
This is Fryer from three-point land, and he has it. So Loyola Marymount goes to their first lead of the ball game, 31-30 with 10:24 remaining in the first half. This is Singleton to Roberts.
That's the way you break the press. Anytime you get the numbers to your advantage, you've got to take it to the hole and take what the defense gives you.
Gathers. Rebounded by Roberts. Mismatch with Pear Steamer on Chris Jackson. Roberts, defended by the 6'7" Hank Gathers, has a size advantage of 7'1". And Gathers picks up a cheap foul by pushing Stanley Roberts. And LMU can ill afford to get him in foul trouble.
Well, Chris Jackson has been handling the ball a great deal for LSU, and right here he fortunately gets away. But once you get the ball by the front men in the press, you've got to attack it. And you see, this is the way to end it. Stanley Roberts going in with some authority. A good sign for Stanley Roberts. Hadn't been aggressive. One of the things Dale Brown decided to take him out of the lineup for.
Chris Jackson double clutches and finds the range. 9 first-half points for Jackson.
I'll tell you what, he makes tough shots look easy. That was a tough shot.
Steamer, nice pass to Gathers. Hank Gathers with his 12th point. And it's a 1-point LSU lead. Maurice Williamson decides to take it to the hoop. And Maurice Williamson with his 4th point. Gathers to Kimball. Can't get the roll. Here comes LSU. Sims. Kimball from three-point land, off the mark. Rebounded by Williamson. Good pass to Jackson. And he's fouled by Pear Steamer. So LSU loving the pace as they said they would yesterday. But the Lions of Loyola Marymount said we'll see how they like it in the second half.
I think that's what they're going to have to find out. But as I watched the LMU try to get back defensively, it appears as though the long trip they took from Los Angeles, having played a game 2 nights ago, has taken a bit of a toll, because I see more LMU players than Louisiana State players appearing to be tired. And the real test of that is, do you get back defensively? And I don't think that LMU Loyola has been doing a good job of that. LMU, LSU game. This is pretty easy to confuse that. Loyola Marymount's really been active. They've been taking the ball to the basket. They've gotten those fouls called on Stanley Roberts, exemplifying that. They're 11 for 16 from the foul line. They've got to continue to take it to the basket.
They call the offensive charge. Indeed they do. Maurice Williamson getting in the way of Tony Walker. And Q with those 2 free throws by Chris Jackson. He now has 23 consecutive free throws made in the last 4 ball games. Williamson passes over to Krzyzewski. He misses. Here comes Walker to Peabody.
Great pass, good follow through by Peabody, putting hard to get in that play.
And Tom Peabody, again, he was the guy you mentioned before, called the Human Grooves, averages 9.5 floor burns a game as he knocks that one out of bounds, and it's a 5-point LSU lead with 8:24 remaining in the first half. This is Chris Knight coming in for the Lions, replacing Jeff Fryer.
Knight's in the game, primarily a shot blocker. He's been the guy that gets in. He's going to try to help a little bit on the inside play that has been so dominant thus far by LSU.
He's a 6'9" sophomore from Los Angeles, California. String bean player who really does need to get a little stronger.
Needs to be stronger, but he uses his agility to his benefit. He knows he's not strong enough to muscle anybody, so he tries to...
Roberts really enjoying the size advantage on the inside as he drops in yet another basket. 6 for 6 from the floor. This is Steamer. Roberts with the rebound. Jackson to Sims.
Oh, and you got a player like Chris Jackson to make a big difference. Jackson beat the press by himself.
And Tony Walker right back down the court to score, cutting the LSU lead to 7.
I said it all along, the thing that you have to be concerned about what LMU does to you coming back on the other end. Tony Walker, the newcomer, and everybody on Loyola's team is pleased with Tony Walker because he brings the speed at the point guard position, much more so than they had last year. That time, Walker doing a good job taking it to the basket, looking at the three-point play.
Foul was assessed that time to Maurice Williamson, his third. And Tony Walker moves the range for the three-point play, cutting the LSU lead to 6. It's a 44-38 Tigers lead. And working on LMU right now is LSU, holding a 6-point lead. And thus far, what the players have had to say about this pace, they love. The Tigers are playing well. Sims powering on the inside. Now, Wayne Sims played at the center spot for 2 seasons, so he's accustomed to the physical play inside.
Well, he kind of, enjoys that to the extent that he'll go in and try to get a little contact when he makes a basket.
Kimball gets his own rebound and is fouled by Stanley Roberts, his second personal foul. Stanley Roberts on a training regimen trying to lose some weight. And Kansas in a close affair with Oklahoma. And earlier today, right here on CBS, you saw that Big East matchup between Georgetown and St. John's. Well, St. John's, again, looking impressive, playing a good Georgetown squad, of course, but St. John's a surprise so far.
Well, they have been surprised. Jason Williams is playing well, and, they've been, Wordman, all of those guys have come together. But this is a team that Louis really likes. He likes the way his teams come together, and they've done an outstanding job. As we had a backcourt here by Duval.
And the problem there is Duval left with his feet, having been stationed in the backcourt when he caught the ball.
Well, what you can see is he started on the front court, and then he caught the ball going in the backcourt. So what they consider is your last point of possession was in the front court. The official made the appropriate call.
10th LSU turnover. This is Per Steamer. Rebounded by Gathers, off the mark. And Duval does a nice job of blocking out underneath. Duval trying to lob it to Roberts. Back to Singleton.
That's a great pass by the big fella. Stanley Roberts still learning how to play, but a great pass to get it in.
And good defensive hustle by Vernell Singleton as the ball goes off the hands of Tom Peabody. It's a 10-point LSU lead. And LSU with 10 turnovers, but expected in a high-paced contest like this.
Well, LMU, as a matter of fact, causes about 25 turnovers a game, so I'm sure they like that.
LSU with its biggest lead of the game, a 12-point lead over the Lions. Gathers goes up strong to cut it back to 10.
We got 6 minutes to go in the game, and there's 50 points already been scored by the LSU Tigers. That's a little bit of the sign of the game.
And the 11th turnover for the Tigers. Peabody rebounded by Walker. Fryer off the glass. So Jeff Fryer drops in his 8th point of the first half, averaging 20 points in the season. So 50-42, LSU lead with 5:46 remaining. Jackson kisses it off the glass.
He got that move because most of the LSU's players were too tired to get down court, giving Jackson a lot of freedom on that end of the court.
Walker back to Fryer. Fryer misses his second attempt from three-point land. Q, you said you thought Chris Jackson might score 40 today. He's got 15 in the first half.
Well, he'll get a lot of points. He's a lot like Isaiah. They play well in these open court contests. Chris Jackson will get a lot of shots he doesn't normally get during conference play. That's for sure.
Fryer. And Wayne Sims is getting a lot of shots. He's got 12 points, averaging only 9 on the season. Duval gets the roll. And a 14-point lead.
That's a sign of tired legs right there. Stanley Roberts just reached in and tried to stop Hank Gathers with a hand. You can't do that. Can't move his legs. He's just tired.
And Randy Duval is laboring up the court. He's asked Dale Brown for a substitute. Not accustomed to this pace. And he gets his wish as Harold Boudreau comes into the game for Randy Duval.
If I had an oxygen company here, I think we'd do well, because you see Randy Duval needs a little break. Right here, he takes the ball to the basket. It takes a lot of energy to try to explode off your feet to get that shot in. And once the ball goes in the basket, look at the effort it takes for Duval to get back in. Coach, help! Please help me! Get me out of here!
Well, he gets the break.
They're trying to help him over there.
What they need is some oxygen. Tapped in by Harold Boudreau.
Fresh legs.
And 6'9" height. Back to a 14-point lead for the Tigers. Kimball, shot blocked. by Singleton. And Stanley Roberts trying to show his ball handling. Knocked out of bounds by LMU. It'll be LSU's ball. Well, I think we'll see these numbers change drastically, of course. Hank Gathers with 16 points. Chris Jackson with 15 in the first half. Gathers averaging 27. Jackson averaging 28.
Well, I'm sure you see that Bo Kimball will come alive here shortly, but what it has been indicative of, both teams have been able to run up and down. Chris Jackson taking advantage on one end, Hank Gathers on the other.
Steamer steals it from Roberts. Gathers.
That's a find. That's a good find by Tony Walker to find Hank Gathers all alone under the basket.
Gathers working both ends of the floor extremely well, Quinn.
Well, he was the leading rebounder as well as scorer in the country, and the reason he can do that is because of his ability to get up and down the court.
And Roberts will tell you he intended to kiss it off the glass. And Terrell Lowry hammered. And Stanley Roberts is the one arguing. And if it is a foul on him, it will be his third personal foul, and it is.
Tired leg foul, JB. You got a little guy in there. Terry Lowry is only 6'2". Roberts is 7 feet tall. Couldn't get off the ground. That time he got called for the foul just because he didn't have the leg strength to get over and get the rebound.
John O'Connell into the contest for LMU as Richard Krajewski replaces Stanley Roberts, a 6'9" junior from Grafton, North Dakota. Same hometown, or make that same state as Dale Brown.
Well, both coaches at this point are just trying to give players some breathers. You obviously got Roberts with a foul, so Krajewski is in the game. O'Neal already has 3 himself. On the other side, O'Connell is new, getting involved into the LMU system. It's just good to be able to get him an opportunity. But Westhead knows you've got to play a lot of people when you play at this pace.
Terrell Lowry, who has a brother, Josh Lowry, playing at the University of Portland in the same conference as LMU. The West Coast Conference nails both free throws, and it's a 12-point LSU lead, 60-48. LSU's big men are in foul trouble with 53 seconds remaining.
Well, the thing that's really happened here, James, is that, first of all, LMU is not shooting very well, only about 39%. But the rebounds has been what's crazy. LSU has 36 to Loyola's 19. If you don't have the ball, there's no way you can run up and down the court.
Shaquille O'Neal, for the time he's been in there, has been an absolute monster on the boards for the Tigers and not showing any signs of fatigue. Shaquille.
Dale Brown did a good job in getting Shaquille out of the game. I question bringing him back in with 3 fouls. Dale has seemed thus far to be able to get away with it.
You're looking at the shot clock to the left. There are 20 seconds remaining in the game. Make that the first half. Kind of seems like a game as much as it's gone fast. And Chris Jackson drops in his 21st first half point. And Kimball loses the ball out of bounds, and it goes back to LSU. So LSU has tied the record for the most number of points in a half, 72 points coming against Tennessee. They've got a chance to set a new record.
Into the game for Lions, Jeff White.
And they won't get the shot off in time. So that's the end of the first half with the score, LSU 72, LMU 58. Tim Brandt will be back with the road to the Final Four after this message and a word from your local station. Score, he's got a little bit to make up. But again, with the style, the pace that the Lions play, that can be made up in a hurry. This is the half that LMU said LSU would start to fade. We'll find out if that materializes. Bo Kimball starts off with a 3-point shot. He's got 13.
You got to throw it up there to get it in, and Bo's going to try to make up for lost time.
The 5 for LSU, Wayne Sims, Chris Jackson, Shaquille O'Neal, Maurice Williamson, and Randy Duvall. This is Jackson.
That's when he's at his best, James. When he's coming right at you, he puts you on your heel, and it's hard for you to do anything defensively against him.
And look at LSU getting back on defense to change Pryor's mind. The coaches around the conference and the country say Chris Jackson's one of the best at shooting off the dribble, as Hank Gathers drops in point number 23 for him. 74-63 LSU lead.
LSU has got to handle the ball. Right here is what LMU likes to do. Get turnovers off of their full court press.
Tony Walker gets the rebound on the Jeff Fryer miss. That's a 74-65 lead. Cut to 9 points. Williamson makes it, pushes it back to 11. Walker runs and scores.
James, this is what I talked to you about last night. This is where LMU gets you. All of a sudden, Tony Walker's back in the basket before any of the players from LSU gets down. And that time, now they turn the ball over. They get you in their rhythm. That's what Loyola can do to you.
Maurice Williamson having a bit of an up and down game. He normally talks to his father, John Williamson, back in Connecticut before every game. So that really gives him a confidence boost. But he tried this morning and the line was busy.
Well, I played against Super John Williamson when he was with the New Jersey Nets as well as Indiana Pacers. Very good player, strong shooter. His son is a good all-around ball player, more of a passer than a shooter, but has done extremely well and gets great inspiration from talking to his dad.
All out of bounds. There's Super John Williamson, ABA and NBA star. And let me tell you, folks, I remember calling the action for the Bullets when he played for them back in Washington. And when he gets hot, he can get hot. And his son, Maurice Williamson, averaged close to 40 points a game in high school, Wilbur Cross High School in Connecticut.
Like father, like son.
Three-point shot, Jeff Fryer. And he's starting to heat up. He's got 14 points. Back to LMU. This is Kimball. Rebounded by Gathers.
That's where Hank gets you. But I told you at halftime, we started talking about the score, that you said 14 points. I said, that's not enough. LMU has got them in their style, and as long as you're playing LMU style, they can beat you.
Indeed, that lead was not enough. It's down to 4 as Jackson's shot is altered. Give Per Steamer the credit. And here comes the Lions. Tony Walker fouled by Chris Jackson. Near the conclusion of today's game, we will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game for each team. And in their honor, Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. That's coming up just a little bit later this afternoon. Chris Jackson picking up his second personal foul. This is Per Steamer. Rebounded by Duvall. Duvall to Sims. In and out. Here come the Lions. Can cut it to 2, make it 4.
You know, you wonder if some of the fatigue sets in when you see LSU miss those little shots. It's like they're just not getting up just that little bit of difference that gets it in the basket.
Duvall to Sims. Tough pass to Stanley Roberts. But Per Steamer apparently fouls Wayne Sims from behind, his second personal foul. Per Steamer from Södertälje, Sweden, said that the toughest adjustment for him was, of course, the running style. You're smiling.
Yes, because you got the name right.
But you want to try the name of his high school?
No, I'll leave that to you, James. You're very good with that.
Shaquille O'Neal replacing Stanley Roberts. Sims in and out. Said that he knew his role would change this year with the 2 impressive newcomers. Freshman Shaquille O'Neal and sophomore Stanley Roberts. Roberts, of course, sat out last year, a Prop 48 kid. But Sims said that would give him a chance to shoot his jump shot a bit more, and he's been on target today.
Well, when you got somebody like O'Keefe and Roberts in there that gets the rebound, you're a little more anxious to take that shot because you know they'll get the rebound for you.
Bo Kimball challenging Shaquille O'Neal. And he comes up with the rebound and throws the outlet to Maurice Williamson. And Williamson avoids the charge and scores.
You try to find a way to stem the tide. LSU has been struggling a little bit of late, but you see all 5 of the LMU players on the basket. And right here, you see a little bit of the explosiveness of the young Mo Williamson. Takes it to the basket, looking at a 3-point opportunity.
Third personal foul, Per Steamer of Loyola Marymount. Maurice Williamson, a 60% free throw shooter, has upped that average to 81% in the last 5 ball games. So he's worked hard in turning his game up a few notches. Stolen by LSU. Williamson. Tapped from behind by Tony Walker. And Walker and Williamson talking to each other friendly.
Well, this is like you play on the street, so they're back into their rhythm here, James.
And a rhythm it is indeed. This is O'Neal. And he's been in a rhythm from the start of the game. Rebounded by O'Neal. Baseball pass to Williamson, too strong. As Williamson runs near the top of the stadium, couldn't slow himself, but good hustle, and the fans appreciate it.
Well, they think he's up there trying to sell a little popcorn, James. That time, just a little too much effort on the part of Shaquille O'Neal, and you see Williamson just goes in the stands, not 3 steps, but about 8 stairs into the stands trying to save the basketball.
He's got the best seat in the house on the floor. Gathers. Thought he had walked. Tight ball game between number 2 Kansas and number 9 Oklahoma. Low scoring for Oklahoma. Georgetown 74-67 went over St. John. Now that was a final score, 74-67, and the score here at halftime was 72-58. Frame of reference. Gathers off the glass.
You see Hank still taking the ball to the basket. Got to get Shaquille O'Neal and Stanley Robertson foul coverage.
Hank Gathers has his average with 27 points with 16 minutes remaining in the game. It's 82-74 LSU lead. Sims. Rebounded by Kimball. This is Lowry. To Gathers.
Great penetration to draw the defense there by Terry Lowry. Got O'Neal off his feet.
Chris Jackson, smooth as silk with the behind-the-back dribble. Off the mark on the jump shot, but guess who's there? Shaquille O'Neal with the double bump.
Yes! Raw power, nothing but raw power. Chris Jackson takes a shot. Harris Steedman does everything he can to keep O'Neal from the basket, but the young fella still gets it up and in, and he's excited about it. Chris struggling a little bit from outside here late, but O'Neal just takes it in there. I mean, he gets fouled. There's a choice for who you want to call for the foul, but O'Neal shovels it in the basket, having a great game.
I love the story Dale Brown tells about how he been speaking at an Army base in West Germany. 6'9" kid comes over and says, "How can I work on my jumping?" He says, "Well, soldier, how old are you?" He says, "I'm only 13. He says, "Where's your father? I want to talk to him." And they certainly have to be pleased with this 17-year-old youngster here. Impressive game.
Well, you know, he's got 13 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, but 6 block shots has just been the story here this afternoon all over the court. You've got to be impressed with the young man.
Bo Kimball nails a 3-pointer. He's got 16 points on the afternoon. O'Neal up to Singleton. Looking smartly just to control the ball. Chris Jackson is Terrell Lowry. Smart move by Chris Jackson as Lowry picks up his 3rd personal foul, just staying there to exaggerate the point that there's a foul.
You don't teach this. Chris Jackson knows the right thing to do is to go to the basketball. That time he got the foul call on Lowry just by being smart enough. Go to the ball, make the defense go through you.
Jackson taking the one-on-one challenge and scoring. Note the ball comes out. And O'Neal touches it on the rim. That ball had actually gone down into the rim and come back out.
Fisher's got a good position. You see Jackson stops where he should. Now watch the ball will come off the rim, and it'll barely be on the tip of it. And you'll see O'Neal's hand right up there near it. There's no question. It's still on the rim. Even though it's coming out, O'Neal just had his hand on the ball while it's on the rim.
But that's a shooter's touch where the ball just hangs on the rim like that. Blocked by Shaquille O'Neal, who now has just set a single-season shot-blocking record with 62 block shots.
Well, I think Hank Gathers is making a mistake by trying to shoot jump shots over O'Neal. I think you can take it to the basket on O'Neal, but you can't shoot jump shots 7 foot against 6'7".
Terrell Lowry with the 3-pointer. So a new LSU single-season shot-blocking record by Shaquille O'Neal. And smartly tapping it forward to Chris Jackson.
You know, while we've been here admiring these guys, and it's been a great game, do you notice LMU is right back in the game?
Tap-in attempt by Vernell Singleton. LSU ball. New shot clock. 14 minutes remaining in the game. 85-82 lead. And you're right, Quinn. Only a 3-point Tiger lead as well as the Tigers are playing.
Well, yes, because LMU can get you again in their rhythm. That's what they've been able to do. All of a sudden, you're taking quick shots. You don't make them. Loyola pushes it down and gets it on the other end.
Vernell Singleton with his 9th point. Gathers. Blocked by Singleton. Great defensive play.
Great effort.
Williamson. Blocked by O'Neal. Stolen and slammed by Hank Gathers. So O'Neal picks up his 8th block of the game. His highest for the season, 10 in a single game. Williamson answers with a 3. Kimball scores and is fouled by Randy Duvall. So Duvall showing signs of fatigue, probably needing a break.
I think not only Duvall, but Shaquille O'Neal has got to be showing signs of it. What has really been a good job, I think, on the part of Dale Brown is the thing you need to do. You can't afford to try to get O'Neal up and down the court every time. So when O'Neal feels that he's out of the play, going to the offensive end, he stays back, has been playing great defense. All of a sudden, LMU is having some trouble getting the ball in the basket. They're turning into a fast break for LSU.
So the 5 for LMU, Per Steamer, Bo Kimball, Jeff Fryer, Terrell Lowry, and Chris Knight. And there's a conversation taking place at the scores table involving Neil Brown. Apparently we've got a clock malfunction here. 13, and Quinn, I tell you, I remember the first football game that I ever called, talking about not calling action literally from the clock. I remarked that there were 8 minutes and 99 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and every camera person in the world turned around, and now there's 13:99 remaining.
Well, I can tell you what, I'm sure LSU, even though they're ahead, they don't need 13:99 on the clock, because that means you don't know when this game might end, and that just means they've been worn out running up and down this court.
Well, Quinn, just to elaborate on your point again, an impressive game by Shaquille O'Neal, who's been the difference, a big man getting up and down the floor. But the Lions of Loyola Marymount only down by 6 points.
Well, as I've said, and you and I have talked about this, Loyola's into the game that they absolutely enjoy. They don't have the luxury to all of a sudden go to a necessary half-court game, so they want to keep the tempo up and down. LSU, on the other hand, has great potential, and they're showing very good signs of their potential by being able to push the ball up and down the court, being successful, as well as go inside to their big people having success. Therefore, they have the 6-point lead right now.
Loyola Marymount players said they were only surprised by one other team that had a few big players who could keep up with this pace, and that was Xavier, the team they lost to. Thus far, the Tigers doing an excellent job of that as Bo Kimball drops in his 19th point of the game. Down to a 5-point Tiger lead as Stanley Roberts, who's in the game. The safety valve. Got to get it across the 10-second line, and Duvall does. Williamson. Lob to Singleton. Fryer answering right back with the 3. That was not the perfect lob, and Singleton had to go up another notch.
And get it left-handed.
And Roberts with another one. But here comes LMU. Lowry, racehorse basketball.
Going up and down, James. I got a little bit of tennis neck. I don't know about you.
The players said they needed their rest. We needed ours as well. As Chris Jackson is fouled by Chris Knight.
Things go well for you. They go extremely well. Williamson, knowing that he's got Stanley Roberts coming, but Vernell gets this one. You know, the thing about Vernell is that he's played the inside position, thoroughly enjoys getting in there and banging around. That time he had the chance to show some of his jumping ability.
John O'Connell replaces Per Steamer. You know who Vernell Singleton's favorite hero is at the NBA level? Adrian Dantley. Says he loves his work ethic, and certainly there's no one who works any harder and gets more out of his ability than Adrian Dantley.
Well, having played on the Olympic team with Adrian, I'd have to agree with him.
Roberts on the tip end. This is Fryer for 3. Rebounded by Kimball. Runs into Roberts, loses the ball, but they say Lions basketball. Up and down action, 12:02 remaining, and only a 6-point LSU lead.
the way you work it.
Well, I don't know that there's any need to be concerned. He's only down 4 points here, a lot of time, but it's his pace.
And there's a good indication as to why he is not worried. Pear Steamer with the steal and score, and it's a 2-point ball game. Steamer, his first basket of the game. Jackson, alert, protecting the ball. 3-point shot. 32 points for Chris Jackson. 8 away from what Quinn said he would score for the game. And he's got 7 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
Not having any trouble getting it up today.
His high is an LSU Tiger, 55 points. Here comes Jackson. Although Jackson is only 6 feet tall, do you think he can play at the next level?
Thanks, David. There's no question. The guy that just scored the basket, I think, we've got to talk about. Burnell has done a great job in guarding Bo Kimball.
Singleton, blocked partially by O'Neal. I love your answer to my Jackson question.
I got to laugh at that. Are you kidding me? This kid can play anytime he wants to.
Singleton drawing the foul. Hank gathers.
Cornell Singleton has done a good job. He set the pick and he just rolled to the basket knowing that his shooter's going to take it, puts it down with authority. But where he's really been just so valuable for his club is on the other end, he's been the principal reason for Bo Kimball not to be able to get a wide open jump shot. Kimball as well as Williamson get the tempo up defensively. This time Kimball's showing some of his offensive skill.
At one point there had been some concern about smaller players not having a place in the game at the NBA level. But what changes have been brought about to allow players like Sherman Douglas and other smaller players to play so well?
The three-point shot has been the big thing to go for. But I'll tell you as well, they took chances on Muncie Ball as well as taking chances on Spud Webb. And what the pros found out is these kids can play if you let the game get up and down. The game has changed tremendously on the college level as well as the professional level. It's more up and down than when I used to play the game. Even though I love to play it, I don't know if I could play it in 40 minutes like this. Blocked by Vernell Singleton.
Vernell Singleton really has turned up his game defensively and offensively. Steal by Jackson. I think he's loving this pace.
Oh, he's having a ball out here. Now you see right here, great pass by Chris Jackson. If Vernell Singleton is feeling good, that's taking it with authority.
You know how in a courtroom situation, the judge may say, strike that question from the record. Question about Chris Jackson.
Would you like to take that one back?
Strike that one from the record.
Thank you very much.
33 points and 8 assists worth of proving the answer to that question.
The thing that's not measurable by statistics, though, is how many times he's handled the ball broken the press by himself. And that is a big weapon that LMU has not been able to use, that press, because of Chris Jackson.
Well, we've been talking a little bit about the NBA, and that'll be coming your way tomorrow afternoon here on CBS. The Utah Jazz with the second best record in the West behind the LA Lakers. The Detroit Pistons with the best record in the East. That'll be coming your way at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And how do you like that matchup?
Well, I tell you what, Detroit is showing everybody they're still the team to beat despite where they are. Utah and Karl Malone has been the story. Karl was a little disappointed he didn't make the All-Star team as a starter, but he got 61 in this one.
10th block shot by Shaquille O'Neal ties the high of a single game blocking for him this year as Pryor goes in to score for the Lions. 121-111, a 10-point Tigers lead with 5:45 remaining in the game.
A lot of time, JB. Pace still up to where LMU wants it. A lot of time.
Gathers. Terrell Lowry with the three. Go ahead.
You've got to come out and guard everybody on the team with the exception of Hank Gathers at the three-point line, because at all times, LMU keeps 4 players on the court that can shoot three-pointers.
Ball lost track of how much time had expired before getting across the timeline. This is O'Neal. Inside to Sims. The middle is clear for him. And who follows? O'Neal. Now the ball was in the cylinder, but it wasn't called. Pryor. The ball. Three-point attempt. Good.
But if you notice, LSU is starting to take their shots a lot faster than they used to.
Well, obviously, in listening to Pat, the pace is very comfortable where he is. Frenetic here. 126-114. LSU on top. 4:31 remaining in the contest.
Shaquille O'Neal has been the story. Been blocking shots, rebounding, done everything. Got a triple-double. 16 points, 18 rebounds, 10 block shots, rebounds and block shots, the big one.
And Sims, it's an experience every time he takes the ball out of bounds. Randy Duvall. Too high to Singleton. Needed Sherman Douglas for that pass. Kimball.
Got time to get his feet under him, JB. Was able to get that one in.
And 26 points after scoring only 10 in the first half. Jackson for three. In and out. Loyola Marymount ball.
33, Shaquille O'Neal.
Paul Westhead still keeping the feel of the game. 3-point field goal shooting by LMU. Got him back into the game, trailing by 7.
They warmed up a little bit in the second half, but the problem is they just can't get enough going on the inside. Shaquille O'Neal is just taking all of that play away from him.
UGA golf coming up next, the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am. And a 3-point shot scored by Terrell Lowry. Lowry has 20 points and stolen and scored by Jeff Pryor. It's down to a 2-point game.
Duvall lost his place on the court. Didn't realize he was under the basket, tried to pass it. Hit the rim.
Pryor, 8 points over his average of 20. A 126-124 lead by LSU with 3:16 remaining. Singleton pushes it back up to a 4-point lead. He's got 18. Gathers continuing to challenge the big men as he scores the hoop and is fouled. 39 points scored so far by Hank Gathers.
The strength of Hank Gathers is to get the ball on the move. You got O'Neal waiting for him to come in. You see coming from the left of your screen, there's a foul by Randy Duvall. But there have been some good things happen for Hank Gathers. He struggled a little bit because at one point he passed out on the foul line. He went to the doctor, they ran tests. He seems to be all right. He's been on some medications. He scored 44 points in that game the other night where he got 154 team. They had backed off some of the medication. This is not a fluke that he's starting to score so well. That medication obviously was slowing him down. You see now he's got 40 points in this game.
Only the second player in NCAA history to lead the nation in scoring and rebounding last season. Noah Williamson back into Singleton. Singleton 14 points over his average of 6 as Gathers continues to rack it up with his 42nd point. And it's a 1-point ball game with 2:41 remaining. LSU on top, 130-129. Jackson blocked by Gathers. Sims fouled by Gathers. So Hank Gathers picks up his 4th personal foul.
Fouls on 44, Hank Gathers. His 4th personal foul.
Wayne Sims on a conditioning program along with Stanley Roberts. Roberts runs and works out at 7 and 2, 7 in the morning and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Sims having to lose a little less weight works out only once a day at 7 o'clock in the morning, trying to lose 10 pounds. He's lost 5 already.
Well, he played a lot inside. They wanted to get the weight on him last year. This year, they moved him out a little bit or a little more often, so they wanted to take some of that weight off of Wayne Sims.
Don't forget golf coming up next at the conclusion of this track meet here between LSU and LMU. Gathers, kisses it off the glass. He's on fire.
He's back.
And again, we talked about how he wanted to impress the scouts. Quinn, absolutely no question about his ability to play well at the next level. 18 of 31 from the floor.
Well, when I talked to him yesterday, it was important for him to play well. He knew that there were some people wondering or doubting his ability, so he wanted to get a good contest today.
Shaquille O'Neal powering his way in.
Too easy, JB. In there, he'll score all day.
18 points for the Shack. 1:46 remaining, a 3-point Tigers lead. Gathers, blocked by O'Neal. 11th block. And a foul called on Tony Walker, who's upset, saying that Maurice Williamson used that left hand, pushing out like his father did at the NBA level.
Well, right away, you take the ball into Shaquille O'Neal. The problem was Hank Gathers had him out on the court. He should have just tried to beat him. You go in and try to play inside with O'Neal. There's an obvious advantage to O'Neal, 7 foot to 6'7".
Timeout called on the floor. And some question as to whether or not Tony Walker fouled out. We'll answer it when we come back. Going to the commercial break, we were asking about whether or not Tony Walker had fouled out, and indeed he did pick up his 5th personal foul. He's out of the ball game.
As you saw the timeout situation, but Tony Walker, what the LMU loses with that is great floor speed. They don't get up and down the court as well without him, but with Lowry taking his place, what they get in return is a great 3-point shooter. So there is a trade-off, and right now they could use the 3-point shooting because they have enough good ball handlers in the game.
Gathers, snatches the rebound. And Loyola Marymount can cut into the deficit or tie it with a 3-point shot. Kimball. And he scores and is fouled. An opportunity to tie the ball game.
Well, you go to your money anytime you're in trouble. Kimball has been scoring. You see right away, he gets Vernell Singleton off his feet. A cardinal sin for a defensive player. And the scorer still gets the ball in the basket once he got Singleton off his feet.
Bo Kimball had a poor first half, dropping in only 10 points. He scored 18 in the second half, 28 points to go along with 11 rebounds as Jeff Fryer takes a seat. Tom Peabody replaces him.
You get a little tempo upbeat here with Fryer going out of the game. With Peabody, somebody coming in trying to post the ball loose. With the press coming in after the made free throw, they want Peabody to try to get the ball for him.
And Kimball ties the ball game at 134 apiece. This is Singleton. Hammered by the human bruise himself. And Singleton getting the first-hand feel and understanding of why that nickname.
I'll tell you, you can't fault the kid for effort. It's a great effort. You'll see him come right down the middle of your screen, and he thinks that Vernell Singleton's going to take the shot. Tries to keep him from falling. But you can't fault the effort. He comes in, plays great defense. They take him out and get the shooter back in on the other end, bringing Jeff Fryer back in the game.
Vernell Singleton wearing a Band-Aid on that left shoulder of his. Said he's been scratched consistently in games prior to this one. Doesn't have a scratch there, but is wearing a Band-Aid just in case. And misses the free throw and is still tied. So an impressive showing by LSU, and the ball game is tied. Loyola Marymount right in this one. Tie ball, possession arrow favors LSU with under a minute to play in the contest.
But it's still enough time. There's 53 seconds on the clock. Still enough time that if should LSU score on this end, Loyola has an opportunity to come back and try to score on the other end.
Stanley Roberts, all 7 foot 1 inches of him, comes in to replace Wayne Sims. Dale Brown looking for the rebounding strength on the offensive end.
No, but what he's doing, this is more of getting the ball in bounds. Both Roberts, one of those guys, either Roberts or Neal, has to have a smaller man guarding him, and they wanted to be able to throw it over the top to him. They were able to get it to Jackson.
48 seconds remaining. Tie ball game. Chris Jackson, Randy Duvall, Vernell Singleton, Stanley Roberts, and Shaquille O'Neal in the game. Shot clock to your left, game clock to your right. And LMU with 32 seconds remaining.
Well, you've got it where you want it now. You got the ball, this is a place that is questionable where you want to take the timeout. Paul Westhead decides to do it, but you give the defense an opportunity to set up as well as the offensive time to figure out what they want.
Shot clock not a factor, 25 seconds.
Another option you got Jeff Fryer. I would give the ball to Bo Kimball. He's able to take people off the dribble, create opportunities for somebody else.
But you would run most of the time off the clock as opposed to shooting it quickly as they normally do?
Oh, absolutely, because you don't want to give LSU time to run the clock or get it down to the other end. So I would definitely
run the ball. Fouled by Chris Jackson from behind. Now, he was one of the two players that Dale Brown said to foul. Terrell Lowry, a 69% free throw shooter. Sophomore out of Oakland, California.
Clearly one of the guys you want to foul.
Over everything here. Hey, trash!
That's his fourth personal foul.
What's this guy shooting?
You're going to try to ice him. Take the time out here. You try to ice the player. You send him over to the side. You want Terrell Lowry to think about these foul shots he's got to make.
Inside all of us, there's a smile.
Like where you are.
Well, obviously, you're on the line with two foul shots right here. You would probably assume have Bo Kimball on the line, but you got a good shooter as far as Westhead's concerned. The fans are going to help for LSU. This is a good timeout for LSU.
Rebounded by Gathers. Shot missed.
They don't have any timeout, so what they're probably going to try to do is try to get the big fellas inside and just try to lob it to them. Oh, Westhead took a timeout on both Shaquille O'Neal and Stanley Roberts, because it's just going to be a lob.
And he's also got his most physical player in there in Per Steamer at 6'7", 210 on O'Neal. And the clock expires. Did they call a foul?
No,
they did not.
No,
so Stanley Roberts hit the floor. Chris Jackson asking the official if there was a foul. There is none. So we go to overtime.
You got to block the defensive player. Stanley Roberts is able to keep position, does a good job. It looks like a clean block to me. I thought Bo Kimball got over with a clean block.
So we get set for a 5-minute overtime.
So Loyola has two timeouts, because both teams are given timeouts in an overtime.
One additional timeout.
Exactly. So LSU has one. The next thing you got to worry about is fouls. Gathers and Steamer both have 4. But on the other side, the really critical for LSU is Jackson has 4, as well as Duvall. So Jackson's got to be concerned about, or his coach Dale Brown has to be concerned about the 4th foul on Jackson. But going here, I would think that the momentum has to favor LMU. They've been in trouble all game, been able to catch up, and usually the team that catches up has that momentum going in their flow.
And LMU will get the first shot attempt. This is Terrell Lowry. Into Hank Gathers, who's got 44 points. And Gathers scores the first basket in overtime, the first overtime that Loyola Marymount has played this season.
Well, it's a good test for both teams, but for the young players, Shaquille O'Neal, this is their 3rd opportunity, but they haven't played a game quite this hard, this long, I'm sure, even though the others were overtime, because they just don't run that much in the contest they play.
It'll be interesting to see how strong physically Randy Duvall is. This has been a real quick pace, and several times throughout the game, he's gotten tired. Jackson, Sims, Singleton, Shaquille O'Neal, and Randy Duvall, the 5 for LSU.
LSU will try to take advantage of what they have inside.
Singleton. Rebounded by Per Steamer.
No bit of different kind of patience I thought you see in LMU. They're bringing it out, moving it around a little bit. That actually helps LSU get a chance to get their breath.
LMU taking quite a bit of time. This is Jeff Pryor off the front of the rim, but rebounded by Gathers. And a fresh 45 for Loyola Marymount with 3:33 remaining in overtime.
You got to wonder how much quickness to the ball has to do with just fatigue in the legs of Shaquille O'Neal.
Gathers left-handed shot. So the first two baskets scored in overtime, both by Hank Gathers, and it's a 4-point Loyola Marymount lead and a steal for the Lions. Pryor for three. And Singleton comes up with the ball. Duvall for three.
Oh, that's one of the shots Dale Brown says, no, no, no. Good shot.
Terrell Lowry fouled by Chris Jackson.
If that's Jackson's foul, that's his fifth.
Should be his fifth personal foul.
Number 35, Chris Jackson.
And that is number 5 on Chris Jackson.
He thought he had 4 fouls.
And you see him looking puzzled. And again, this is one of the things Dale Brown was talking about, why he does not like the 6-foul rule that they use in the SEC play, because it hurts in non-conference play.
Well, I would agree that it hurts. But right here, Chris Jackson clearly thinks he has only 3 fouls. And there's no question about the foul. But Chris thinks that he has a foul to give. And Terrell Lowry, as you recall, was one of the players that Dale Brown wanted to be fouled in case there was any kind of emergency opportunity.
Jackson leaves the game with 34 points and 9 assists. Now, what happens for Dale Brown minus the playmaker and Chris Jackson? Does Maurice Williamson assume that responsibility? And what if Walker has already fouled out for Loyola Marymount? Chris Jackson for LSU.
James, I'll tell you, it was really, I call it a brain lock. Chris Jackson, for whatever reason, thought he had 3 fouls and a foul to give. I mean, I'm sure given an opportunity to take it back, he would rather be in this contest because he is a real competitor, and anybody that competes wants to be in it when it counts. It counts now.
Lowry had been 6 of 6 from the free throw line. He's missed his last 2. He's 6 of 8. And Maurice Williamson moves to the point guard spot for LSU.
Well, they've got to start going inside this LSU because you lose your leading scorer. The only people that have scored better other than that have been both Roberts and O'Neal. So you've got to find ways to get them the basketball.
Let's see how LSU operates without Chris Jackson there. And Roberts drops it in. A 1-point LSU lead.
Well, the other thing they lose besides the scoring is some of the ball handling ability of Chris Jackson. The big fella takes the game down.
A 3-point Louisiana State lead. And a steal by Vernell Singleton. Excellent defense. And a foul by Bo Kimball. Fourth personal foul on Bo Kimball.
Been making great plays on both ends of the court. You see Shaquille O'Neal, again, just being so active, using his overpowering strength and height just to take the ball to the basket. There was not much Hank Gathers could do but watch. See right there, Dale Ellis been pouring on Mo Williamson. But Dale Brown, let's get some defense. Now, they've done a good job defensively. And I tell you again, the guy who's really come up with the steal has been Vernell Singleton. He had both of those steals, allowing LSU the opportunity to be right here on the foul line.
This is his first trip to the free throw line. Stanley Roberts, only a 52% free throw shooter. And it's rebounded by Terrell Lowry with 1:43 remaining. A 3-point deficit for the Lions. Lowry for 3. Rebounded by Roberts. And LSU obviously looking to protect the ball. And
and loses it.
This is where not having Chris Jackson hurts.
Exactly. That's what the full court pressure does to you. Don't have your ball handler in. Not just your leading scorer, but your ball handler.
Kimball. Blocked by O'Neal, number 12. And Williamson is fouled. Terrell Lowry.
Protecting the middle all afternoon has been Shaquille O'Neal. This is nothing new if you've been watching this game. Protecting it again. He's been blocking shots, coming up with rebounds. He's just had a great afternoon. Now, that's not necessarily a bad foul we just saw right there. Terrell Lowry has fouled Maurice Williamson, but Williamson's only a 59% foul shooter, so that's something that you may see a bit more of from Loyola.
7 games, Williamson has shot at an 81% clip from the free throw line. And it was his 2 free throws that helped him to win against Mississippi in the closing seconds. AT&T Pebble Beach Golf coming next. Point LSU lead with 1:04 remaining. Kimball cuts it to 2 that quick.
That was a raindrop.
Well, they say that's how he got his nickname, the Rainbow Jump Shot. And of course, on the playground, they just shorten it and call him Bo.
Oh my goodness, he just threw that one up.
Williamson.
Well, you see great confidence there by Mo Williamson. He's been struggling. You asked if he would take over. He's done just that, James. He's come forth right here.
1 timeout remaining for LMU, and Maurice Williamson has really risen to the challenge.
Well, he really has, and it's got to do a great deal for the confidence of the young Tigers, because without their starter and their chief player in Chris Jackson, Williamson stepped forth and really taken this game over.
Stanley Roberts with a big rebound of a Jeff Fryer miss. You can see Williamson's confidence oozing. Bo Kimball fouls Vernell Singleton. 5 personal fouls on Bo Kimball. So Bo Kimball will lead the game with 32 points and 11 rebounds.
You know, it never seemed as though Bo Kimball got into his scoring rhythm yet. He still ended up with 32 points, which is great for him. What we have is a little bit of a conversation as to determine whether or not there's a 5th foul on Bo Kimball, but there's no question about it.
As Chris Jackson seated on the bench with his 5th personal foul. And Chris Jackson said that indeed it was awfully good to have Maurice Williamson stepping up his game notch the last 7 games because the team could depend on him. It'll be great basketball action coming your way tomorrow, NBA style. Utah Jazz and the Detroit Pistons, 1 o'clock Eastern time, right here on CBS. Vernell Singleton, 20 points. Is only 2 of 5 at the line. Make it 3 of 6.
That's the one that he almost had to have, JP. Even though with the 3 foul shot, it gives the whole team confidence because Vernell Singleton is only a 60% shooter. Now everybody else will start feeling more comfortable just trying to run off the clock should they get the ball back.
Rebound by Roberts, stolen by Lowry. LSU ball. Roberts trying to make like a guard. Fouled by Tom Peabody. Coordinating producer of NCAA basketball on CBS Sports is Bob Dekas. Today's telecast has been produced by Bob Monsbach and directed by John McDonough. Halftime is produced by Steve Shear and directed by Kathy Barretto. The senior producer of CBS Sports is David Winter, and the executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. One of two from the free throw line for Stanley Roberts. 21 points and 12 rebounds, so a big outing for Stanley. Fryer for three. And LSU wins the sprint. The Chevrolet